Okay, great. Another question. I know that we often hear from you to talk about to see people as Source sees them, or sees experiences or circumstances as Source sees them. What I'd like to know is, how does Source look at people that society, the world, has identified as people committing ongoing acts of wrongness, genocide, other things that doesn't seem to be a single isolated act, but it seems to be a continual vibration of destruction, murder, however you'd want to call that?
Well, the thing that's interesting about that is that while we talked about that earlier relative to religious battles, which most of them are, as Source sees people in contention with one another, Source steps far enough back from it to see it as a step one experience. And because Source is not concerned about death, because there isn't any. Yesterday we were talking about making peace with what is, because if you are not making peace with what is, you cannot let go of it in order to move to what is wanted. And so when Source is aware of those step one experiences, Source turns undivided attention to what is wanted as a result of it. So Source is not feeling the pain of the battle, but the pleasure of the contrast which is causing the expansion.
So if you see someone, a leader of government, that is issuing orders that is causing the deaths of many, and I get that there's nothing wrong with the death piece of it, but the level of disconnection I would assume that person experiences in issuing those orders, how does Source look at that, see that vibrational escalator that person is launching, and make peace with someone that, I mean, the names that come to mind are the Hitlers and the Mussolinis and the dictators of the world that have been supposedly responsible for atrocities?
Well, it's interesting because whichever side of the battle you're standing on, you're sure that you're the good guy and they're the bad guy. And it's not inappropriate that humans do that, because once you've decided that you're going to battle, you better line up with it. And to assume that you are on the wrong side of something that you're doing would only split your energy further. We've strayed from the point of your question, but we just want to get that in, that everyone always thinks that they're right as they're pushing against the other. And the emphasis that we are wanting to impart here is that the danger or the damage to the individual who is embroiled in that is that you can't push against what you don't want and get what you do want. That's the fallacy, that's the flawed premise of all of these wars, that you can get to where you want to be by pushing against what you do not want. But your question is not talking about the physical humans who are involved in it, which is what we want to talk about. We want to talk about how you as individuals can come into alignment with who you really are. Your question is, how does Source see such an experience? And we promise you, Source sees that like any other contrasting experience. In other words, first of all, for someone to be in a position where they are offering those kinds of orders, as you say, bringing about that kind of destruction and discord to the lives of so many, that person is, as you said, and we agree, not in alignment with Source. But it doesn't mean that they aren't in alignment with their idea of what's right.
Right.
You've been listening to us for a long time, and you hear us talking about the difference between messing around in a physical world where you're putting all of your emphasis upon action and doing and saying, or being in the non-physical arena where you are tending to vibration and you're reaching for alignment. And so everything that man calls war, whether you're a soldier in the war or whether you're the general or the leader of the nation who is offering the orders, everyone who's involved in that, without exception, falls into the category as mucking around in this physical stuff. And it is rare that any of them in the midst of that are in alignment with who they really are. So all of that is a step one experience. You're wrong, I'm right. You're wrong, I'm right. You're wrong, I'm right. But out of all of that is being born the essence of something. So take any leader of any nation who is issuing orders that are bringing about lots of destruction. Pick one. Who today comes to mind?
George Bush.
So George Bush is, in his attitude of justification, issuing those orders. And would you say that he's doing it from a state of alignment or from a state of misalignment?
Misalignment with source, but alignment with his own beliefs.
All right, so alignment with his own beliefs, but misalignment with source. So as he knows what he doesn't want, what do you think it is that he knows he does not want?
He knows that he does not want the country that he rules to be in danger. He does not want that country to be attacked. He does not want the people that he rules to be unsafe or to feel unsafe.
All right, so let's give him that benefit of the doubt. Let's say that that's what he believes. And so if he knows that he doesn't want them to be unsafe, what does he wish for his nation?
Safety,
well-being,
peace, security, well-being.
What else do you think might be mixed in there?
Mixed in
his process of sifting and sorting. In other words, he doesn't want bad economy. He wants a better economy. He doesn't want terrorists to rule. He wants terrorists to be contained. But terrorists to be contained isn't going into vibrational escrow. So he doesn't want to be attacked. He doesn't want to be vulnerable. He wants an environment of control. So let's say that, as we said, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and you always must. So he doesn't want his nation to not be safe. He wants his nation to be safe. Can you get there from there? In other words, is that actually what he's throwing into vibrational escrow?
Is he throwing safety into, is he throwing safety and security?
Is he actually, as he is deciphering this contrast, is well-being what is going into his vibrational escrow, no matter what conversation that he is offering? He doesn't want to be seen as a bad president. He wants to be seen as a good president. He doesn't want to be seen as someone who didn't contribute. He doesn't want to be forgotten. He wants to be remembered. In other words, there are all kinds of things personal and about his world in general that he is putting into his vibrational escrow. Now, here's a really important thing to understand. He doesn't have to accurately articulate what he is wanting from all of this. In other words, he, as the leader of a nation, in terms of vibration, is not contributing to vibrational escrow in a one bit more meaningful way than anybody else. In other words, everyone who's thinking and offering vibration and having experiences is contributing to vibrational escrow. So the thing that we want to say to you is, it's not only what his personal experience is causing him to put into vibrational escrow that is causing the culminating of this escrow that will be mass consciousness's benefit. In other words, all of the people who are being affected by his decisions are also living that and putting into their vibrational escrow. So there is a mass consciousness vibrational escrow that is being amassed. Yes? Yeah. So this person who stands in a spotlight and makes decisions is being looked at by millions of people around the planet. Millions of people who are being affected by his decisions in different ways. Some are not being personally affected, others are. Some people are dying and so desires are being offered. Some people's villages are being destroyed and so their desires are being offered. Some people's economy is being disrupted and so they're putting things in vibrational escrow. But because of the decisions or the seeming decisions of this person, there is this huge vibrational vortex that is being amassed. The way Source looks at this is that this person who seems to be so instrumental in all of this is not playing that bigger than life role that everyone is giving him credit for. In other words, he is one player having his personal experiences and putting his part of whatever into the vibrational escrow. So the question that we want to put to you is, can you see how a person like, you said, a Hitler or Mussolini or a George Bush or anyone who's in this public place, can you see how leaders rise as culminations that answer the calling of the vibration of the masses? You see what we're getting at? In other words, he stands as a representative of a fearful world. He didn't get afraid and then offer actions that have made the world afraid. He is a vibrational match to the fear of the world and stands as a representative of that. So when Source looks at a situation on the planet, Source doesn't look at an individual and ever condemn. Source looks at a vibrational set of circumstances of which someone might be a keener than average representation. They've come in vibrational answer to the vibration of the masses. And that's how Source looks at it. Not at an individual who is doing wrong, but as a society who is embroiled in contrast and is asking for something better. And that's why Source turns undivided attention toward what's being asked for that is better, and feeling appreciation for every person in every part of the contrast who has contributed to this, because this is the expansion where Source stands, and this is the guiding light that Source is calling others to. And Source knows that there will be a more peaceful time, or there will be a more thriving time that is bigger and better because of what's being lived. And so there is no reason ever to condemn what's been going on that caused this, because this is where it all is at, you see. Source just keeps blessing every role that everyone plays. And we know it is irritating to those who are more comfortable to stand in any moment and use that behavior of that person, or that behavior of that terrorist group, or that behavior of that whatever, as their excuse to not become that which that very unsettling group has caused them to become. Oh, don't you want to know that? Can't you feel that? That if they hadn't aggravated you into your expansion, you wouldn't be so condemning of them that feels like they're keeping you from your expansion? Everything is so personal, you say.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.